Anyway, today we were going to talk about the master classes. Debbie, yes, or Tuesday, we kind of went through all the breakout sessions, which was
Hmm.
cool because I didn't realize it when I was looking at the schedule, but there were 11 options for 6 time frames.
Yeah.
And I, yeah,
Hmm.
at first I thought, why do they keep repeating the same thing? And they really only offered most of them twice, I
Yeah,
think.
there most of them you had to pick and choose without a doubt. And I ended up personally taking everything that was lineage research related as opposed to applications related.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, I was more interested in the applications related since I'm supposed to be the one that knows the standards,
I
you
and
know.
I mean, I've done all the GEP classes. Amanda and I had talked amongst ourselves that um, we go to the guidelines and we read the guidelines and we read the doc. We figured we could find most of our answers where
Hmm.
we have access to that readily. Um,
And I've started answering
Same time,
questions
but
by,
at the same time, there are little things that you miss. So,
sure.
I would have the one class I would have liked to have would have been that, and this is taking you off your main subject, but the 10 deadly sins. But
Did you get
Yeah.
I
the
did get
notes
the
on
handout.
that?
I really appreciate that because as I was going through the four that I had stacked up this week, the last few weeks, because I didn't dare put them out the door, all those were running around in my mind about make sure you do this, make sure you do that. And
Well, the one thing I was going to say, especially to this group, is that I'm sure you guys are all often asked questions, if I do this and all that. And one thing I've noticed goes on the doc a lot, and I like it, and so I encourage all of you to do it, is they quote the guidelines. So that
Mhm.
means they have to go look it up and they actually copy and paste it with the page number and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it just is an easy refresher for us,
Mhm.
I mean, and it helps them too. So, and where it helps them is, oh, it's in the guidelines. Oh, it's in the guidelines, And so after a while, hopefully that kind of breeds that understanding that there's a lot in the guidelines.
There is a lot. I mean, some of it could be written more clearly. Let's go with that.
That's true too.
Yeah, but at the same time, when you do get confused and say, I looked at the guidelines and I am not sure I'm understanding this correctly, people are more than happy to help you. And then, of course, you get three different answers. But
Let me throw this at you. I was going to throw it on the doc, but maybe you guys can help me out. This supplemental that Sandy is working on right now, um, we as the Volunteer Genealogist Committee group worked it for the first 5 generations or so because it's a supplemental for a state board member, and she's already got several. So, they say to use the most recent application for every generation. Duh, we know that.
right.
This morning I was like, my mind is blown because she's got, I think, her Patriot and 4 supplementals, so 5. And her
Mhm.
daughter's got 5, but 6, but one of them's through her father's line. So they all have the same. In July of 2022, mother and daughter submitted 2 supplementals. So those 4. So when I go through and I search for those generations and they say, look at the list as it populates on your screen and take the bottom one, and that's the most recent one. Okay, well, that sounds good. But then when I drill down to the member, there's it's in reverse order. Not totally, but those two, you know what I mean? There's 2 supplementals for each woman that got verified at the same time.
Hmm.
And so when I look at the whole list for that generation, one of those supplemental patriots is at the bottom. But then when I drill down to the member, the other one that was verified the same day is on the bottom. I
Are
don't
they
think
alphabetical?
which time?
Yeah. Well, in the member display, I think um, at the top where you would see the application itself. I think they're in order of approval at where you would select it to look at the lineage that you'd build an app from. Those are alphabetical. I don't know which is.
I think you can sort them that way. What do you think, Nan?
I would use both of them. Just list both of them. That way you can't be criticized.
Well, if the
Yep,
date
because
on, if the date on the application itself is the same,
I
it's
had
funny.
drilled down to the image access of it to see what date they were verified because I was going crazy. And they're
Yeah,
all the same day, so I don't know that it
And they were
matters.
verified the same day.
yeah. If
I
they
would-
were, I would
Just
not
list the
that.
two national numbers.
Yep.
Who's on the bottom of the ancestor? Like if they were both supplementals for John Smith, which
Yeah, that would be the
applications on the bottom of that list?
There's a newer one. Neither one of those girls.
Oh, well, then you need
But
to
then you use the newer one.
Yes.
Not
yes.
for her generation.
Oh,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
yeah. Then you go to the. Okay,
It's
that's
probably not going to be. I'm overthinking it, I'm sure. And
Mhm.
Nan, you're probably right. I mean, I got a 50% chance of getting one of those right.
Yeah.
if they were very, yeah. I go with the one on the bottom. But okay, I have this question now that you just mentioned it. When you look at descendants, uh, um, okay, so I'm looking for a pair of people for descendants, and it pops up, and you've got two or three different selections. Is there an easy way to tell which one's the most recent? Like if they've had,
Well, of course, the one on the bottom, but I hear what you're saying. If you're going to the next generation closer, then you got to kind of look at each of the.
you do, yeah. There's not an easy. It's not like it's the one on the bottom because I mean you'll have John Smith and Mary.
You guys, I got to take this phone call. I got to step there. My chapter's in a parade right now. We're trying to line up. I'll be right back.
Gotcha. Yeah. Anyway, it's that's the one that really catches me is when you've got a group of 9 and then you open it up and you've got a list of people. The one on the bottom you'd select, but if there's 5 different patriots that these people are,
Interlock. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So that's where it's like, all right, which patriot was done last, especially if they're not by the same person. But
Well, I have a note that I got from Forrest Crosley. The genie does not change the letter response or under review because I had one that was under review, but I had 3 error letters for the 3 different ones. And so I went and checked every single supplemental to see if I had any error letters because the genies are not supposed to change that. E-membership does. And I thought, well, dadgummit.
yeah.
This was the error letters went out in February and I finally found them last week.
Wow. Yeah,
Yes.
that has created a problem in my world. I mean, it's not that I have had to deal with many, but when the app, well, more than, let's see, I guess with supplementals, when the member gets the air letter and you have no clue that it's gone out, it's like, well, but now I've started saying, all right, so if you get a letter before I see it, let me know, if there's a problem. But, not that there's very many instances, but I like to give people a heads up.
Well,
But
and the thing is,
after-
they wouldn't accept the cemetery tombstone because it didn't have the month and date
yeah.
on it.
What?
Yeah.
Never heard that
So
one.
just take the month
And you come up with the most creative problems.
Yeah. And this is just fries my anyway. So they sent it in, we sent it in 22. In 23, they declared that this person was the same name and it wasn't allowed. I said, DeForest, I said, this is after we sent it in. Said, we're not mind readers.
Right.
Yeah.
And he will not budge on that.
Now, that wasn't in the first 4 generations, was it? The tombstone?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Has to have the
Well,
month and date.
and so
mean-
they want complete dates. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Well, it depends.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So
on
if
a
it's a,
case-by-case basis. Well, then there's only one way to find out if your case is going to be accepted.
yeah, try it.
Yeah.
You know, Robin Breen's, it was my registrar. You know, I'm no longer regent. Yay for me.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, really.
I loved it. I would do it again if life was a little different, but I'm liking this a lot more. And but Robin Vereen's was my registrar, and we would have good long talks about it, things, you know. And I don't even remember who said what. That's why I have to prelude this. But one of our sayings was, "Can you sell it?" You know, I mean, we own it. It gets into us. We know what we're thinking and how we're going and where we're
Right.
headed. But
Got
to
the
sell
whole-
it.
Yeah.
And then I know this one was Robin's. She's like, I'm going to send it in. They can ask for what they want instead of me trying to guess what they want. And nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
As long as you're ready, you know.
Are you saying that on generation 4, you have to have month, date, and year?
No. Generation 2.
I thought it was the first,
Oh, okay.
I thought it was the first 3 or 4.
I think it's the first 3.
Great.
Okay.
First 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
At what point do you say, I'm sorry, there's no way we're ever going to find this lady's actual birthplace in 1897 and send it in with what you've got?
If it's after the first 3, if it's like 5 or
No, this is generation 3. I've got one application. She's on the census records at age 3 in Coffee County, Alabama.
okay, does it have a state there where she was born in the census?
It is
Should be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does have that she was born in that state, but it
That's
doesn't
good.
tell that
But
she's
you're
born
not the county and the city.
right.
It should still be good enough. I would
Well,
think.
what I decided, and I told her this yesterday, I said it's 1897 in Alabama. We've got everybody else, and let's send it in with a note saying we've looked for this, 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 and this, and and it's not the bloodline. I said we'll send it in and tell them we'll just X her out if you know, because if they can't accept that, but we've got the proof of parents and all that stuff. So
I truly believe this case that Sandy and I are working on, we've got a illegitimate child. I believe we really, really do. When we first started working on it, there's Lucinda Moore, died in about 1866, and she willed everything to her daughter, Jane Hicks. But Lucinda Moore, we can't find any kind of marriage record or anything. Well, her father wrote a will where he left, X amount of things to Lucinda Moore and her daughter, Jane. So, I mean, I really do believe it's an illegitimate child that they didn't shove underneath the carpet, I mean.
Yep.
Okay.
He refers to her as her daughter.
Yeah.
Lucinda's father in the will, it says my daughter. It doesn't say daughter-in-law, it says daughter. And I can't find anything. I tried to find something in court records, maybe where they might have called the father to court or something, but
Yeah.
I haven't been able to find a thing.
Immaculate.
I don't think that will fly.
Okay. Who did we lose? Did we lose somebody? It looked like my screen rearranged when I looked away from it.
Colleen.
Oh, interesting.
Colleen's there, but
Yeah,
she turned
Okay.
off her video.
that's fine. So we were this morning going to talk about the master classes. And I mean, I was blown away with a lot of them. The AI one with Mr. What's his name?
Little.
Steve Little.
That was,
Mhm.
some of these, and it's the same sort of thing, like when I've gone to Roots Tech and stuff. They are life applicable outside of genealogy research, and that's what I found this one to be pretty much in that line. The one thing that I kept referring back to though is he said that there's an AI tsunami coming. Can you guys
Mhm.
break that down for me? What did you get out of that?
He
I think there is so much. I think this technology is it is evolving so rapidly that I mean it's like by the hour, by the day, and I think and it's not just affecting genealogy; it's affecting everything. And in fact, I was just reading an article about one of the head guys from Google is partnering with Sam Altman, who was one of the originators of Apple products, and they're talking about how iPhones are just going to be passe because of all of this coming at us.
Interesting.
And it is really interesting. And I found that anything that was involving AI at the GRI was just fascinating to me.
Well, Debbie actually had AI help her plot a garden. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean,
Yes, and
somebody's actually used it.
yeah, but I'll keep you posted on that because I think they planted the tall plants and the taller plants are in the front and they're shading the stuff in the back. So I wasn't clear enough.
Interesting.
I wasn't clear enough to my
Direct-
in my query. So we'll see what I do in the fall. We'll see if I get anything.
Well,
If
that's one
anything,
thing that Steve Little did say you could trust but verify.
yeah.
Of course, as
And I didn't think
genealogists,
about
we
it.
do that all the time anyway. We go crazy, we go up these crazy trees that have no documentation
Oh,
until
yeah.
don't trust until you verify.
Mhm.
I had an
And-
experience last night that I thought was kind of interesting. My son showed my mom and I this like minute 20-second speech that Trump had done. Now you have to understand, my mother loves Trump more than air itself. So there you go. And we were watching it, and I was, I'm like, okay, Merritt's trying to teach us something here. He's got something up his sleeve. So I was looking at the lips to see if somebody had just voiced over, you know, and I don't even remember what impact it had. It was some sort of big deal. Um, Merritt goes, "That's AI, Mom." And I'm like, okay, how do you know this? He goes, he opens up his Facebook, he goes, "I know the guy that built it, and he told us that he built it. This is AI."
yeah.
Yeah. And so we got to talking to Mom about, with AI, it's junk in, junk out right now, as far as, like Reddit or Quora, where everybody can just interact. It's a different social media platform, but it's weaving in all of the answers to things like that too.
whether
Mhm.
they're right or wrong.
Right.
Mhm.
Did
I
you?
found that Steve Little's idea about keeping your queries was really brilliant.
I'd forgotten
So
that, Debbie. Yeah. I didn't.
because like for instance, next year or in the fall when I plant my garden, I've kept that and I can modify it then and say put the short plants in the front,
Yeah.
which I didn't do.
But of course,
So
his introduction to us is he was just talking away to the machine. And of course,
yeah.
I'm sure a well-practiced scripted query, but
Yeah,
mind-boggling.
but they do respond. And like when I was designing my garden, or when Chat GPT was designing my garden, it was interacting with me.
Did you talk
Like
to it or type it?
I was typing.
Yeah. Yeah. I took 2 or 3 pages of information that I had gathered to try and explain why the land was in Granville but then he was in Barnwell, and then Orangeburg came into the mix. And I said, "Can you please summarize this for me?" And he did a really good job to put it into just a few bullet points that I could include with as a statement with the application.
I
So
know
that
this morning I was on Labs, Family Search Labs. And of course, we just drilled down to the full text search. But there's some AI stuff going on there, of course, too. Ask a help chatbot, AI enhanced help center searches.
Summarize the document.
yeah, summarize is a very nice little feature.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Well, my Adobe Acrobat's doing that. I mean,
Oh yeah,
I open up a 20-page document and it says, "Do you want to summarize this?" No.
it's asking me if I want to summarize my applications because it's a long document now. It's like, no. It hasn't given me a do not ask again yet, which
That would
Do
be
not
interesting to try it.
summarize that document.
It'd be interesting for the fun of it to try it and see what happens. But I
yeah.
don't usually have that kind of time. It's like, no, go away, I was looking for the handout. Did he give us a handout? I don't know that he did.
Yes.
Yes, he did. However, and maybe it's already been posted. He mentioned in his presentation that he was going to forward his PowerPoint or whatever. And did he ever do that?
I haven't seen it, but
Okay.
I'll go out on the dock right now while we're talking and I'll see if I can find it. I would think it would be, if the DAR posted it anywhere, I would think it would be in the
it's in our GRI doc.
right.
Okay. I haven't.
It's where it's supposed to be. I'm behind the times on all that stuff.
Well, are you feeling better? Are you yourself yet?
I am feeling better.
What was the matter, Colleen?
Oh,
I had picked up a virus on the way to DC. Still halfway recovering from the one that I had just gotten over, and I have terrible allergies. And so anyway, then I got something not quite bronchitis because my doctor had already given me a spare Z-Pack just in case it came back. So I started taking those in DC, but by the time I got home, I was in bed for 3 or 4 days, just not really, really sick, but coughing and sleeping.
For the last couple of days, we were bringing her food there.
I was, but I have been sleeping well now because this medicine that they gave me, it's just something that's got to work itself through, but I am feeling.
And the thing you went on the night tour.
Yeah, that didn't help at all.
No.
But anyway, moving right along.
There is nothing in the GRI.
Yeah, he had
No.
he had said he would have something in the Jewish group that he had spoken to was ahead of us.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
I did not get that part of the memo. Good for you. Yeah.
He just said it. He didn't say it in writing. So.
Okay. Yeah, there's like the most recent things are how to enter the building and
we got that figured out.
Are available, Okay, so was there anything else in regards to Steve Little's presentation?
No, he said he will send out the handout. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, any other takeaways that we want to share with one
Well,
another
ask Marcy.
for the handout?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I had to ask her how I could get into the building because I had a walker and they didn't cover that.
So, as far as Steve goes, he said, hang on, that thought just ran away. I didn't say it soon enough. It'll come back to me. There was something that he said that it'll come back.
I am putting a question out there on the doc asking if there's any information on when his handouts will be available. I mean, it has been 2 weeks now.
Mhm.
Yes, yes.
Oh, what was that?
But Judy Russell had lots of handouts.
He did. You guys, I have wanted to see. I don't even know how long she's been out there as the legal genealogist, but I have wanted to see her for so long. I've never had an opportunity to listen.
She was
She was phenomenal.
I know you guys had her, Elaine, when you guys had her in the upstate, I was in Texas at a learning how to make epoxy countertop class.
She was awesome. Yeah.
Oh, I think that I really broke my heart when I found out that, she was here in the state. I didn't even hear her, but I enjoyed every minute of it, other than when I was falling asleep. That wasn't on her,
You weren't the only person. I'll fall I literally have fallen asleep during IMAX movies. There's something
Oh
about the
my.
whole theater thing with the eyes, and uh, but I was hearing. I just was just kind of drifting,
You were resting your eyes.
resting my eyes, and
Yeah.
who knew I was getting sick too. So, and I'm not an 8 o'clock in the morning, be up and look pretty kind of person. I can be in my recliner with my ponytail, but
You would never be a teacher because
oh
you
no.
have to be on the ball at
I've
8 o'clock.
Yeah, I've always said I work the late shift, so suddenly it's midnight, and yeah, I probably ought to think about going to sleep.
It's
Yeah,
funny.
that's why I don't do genealogy at night because I look up and it's 2 o'clock in the morning. And I
Yeah.
thought, oh my gosh.
I haven't done it one or two in the morning late. Well, last time I did was the day I discovered AI, but anyway.
I use legacy software to keep my genealogy organized. And yeah, it's got a little alarm on there you can set, and it pops up, covers your screen, says it's time to go to bed.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
great.
that's
Wow.
great.
Yeah.
Okay, for Judy Russell, she started off with linking the generations with court land records.
Yeah.
Now, she really brought that home, actually, though, in the next day's presentations on the order in the court. I thought, she kind of built the
Big picture.
platform, yeah, and then she broke it down. Now, did you go Wednesday morning? No.
I had to go home because I'm the chairman of the Mount Pleasant Historical Commission, and I had an 8 a.m. meeting on Thursday morning. So that I didn't plan that very well. So next year I'll do better. But
So
yeah, so
you
I
really
missed
liked it.
I missed that day, and I'm sorry I did, but
This morning,
duty called.
I should have made scanned copies of her handouts to share, but of course, you might like them. Well, you got them, Debbie. They're in your packet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got I've got this
She
one.
did Nanette. No,
No,
Nanette.
Nanette. That
Order
one,
in the court.
did you, okay, if you got something out of that, not that I didn't get anything out of it, but it was not to me as significant or substantial as the others.
Mhm.
I mean, I felt like I pretty much understood. It wasn't anything really new. But what about you guys? What did you get out of the No Nanette?
I need to refresh my memory. In fact, I'll do that.
I'm pouring through these handouts myself.
I didn't make one note.
Me
Well, it's
neither.
because she could be mesmerizing. I mean,
I mean, not on No Nanette. I made notes on linking generations using
Yes,
court and
me
land
too.
records, but I didn't make any notes on No Nanette. I thought that was I think we're
No,
kind of beyond.
I did make some notes. And I have it, at the back. Yeah, okay.
okay, so what'd you get?
All right. Negative evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Mhm.
talked about that. Best
Mhm.
practices.
I
Well,
think
we all know
negative
that.
evidence a lot of
Exhaustive
times is-
research, cited sources, analyzing complete
Mhm.
data. She talked about using a map.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I've seen that actually have the names of the individuals that own that plot.
Mhm.
I've seen it in the 1700s and then the 1800s in Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, there's something, there's a series of books, I think I've got it upstairs, called Family Maps. Have you guys ever heard of those?
Mm-mm.
no,
And
I
it's
have the one of the census, all the census maps go with the census because my family never moved and they were in Northampton, Northumberland, Snyder, Union, and Snyder County. They
Yep.
just kept subdividing.
Right.
And so I use that a lot. It's really good.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
these family
Yeah.
maps, I've used them more for the Western people, more so, because they're developing. You
Mhm.
know, I mean, a lot of what we've got out here was they were already developing it at the time of the Revolutionary War. But you know, they're moving into community, they're using their land grants, they're, you know, buying up.
Homestead Act. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And so, of course, they're more on a grid too, Dan, instead of these funky little rivers and, you know,
Mhm.
oh, there's a
You
big
can see
oak
that
tree.
they actually surveyed them ahead of time.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this oak tree thing. Oh, it's over by the, you know, you go to the white ash and then you go to the oak tree. And you guys, from a girl that grew up in the desert, I'm like, it's a tree.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a very interesting, if you go to the General Land Office website, there is a reference section that has their 18, I think it's like 1870 something, their manual on how to identify markers. And it's really interesting about, find for um, marking trees or rocks or whatever. And then they have several versions, but when you go from the 60 pages from 1870 and then the current one, I think the most recent is 2005, is over 500 pages, but it actually addresses finding those old markers and what to do if you can't. And
Yeah.
it's really
I did a workshop in Pennsylvania Archives on researching your family in Pennsylvania. And they had a whole class on geometry and how many meters it took, And
yeah.
so I took it the second time. And so I said, So I went down and did more research. Math is not my thing. Anyway, but he actually talked about, and the early ones are in meters.
Mhm.
Yeah. And yeah, okay.
I would love to be able to get the software where you can actually plot out the plats.
Yeah.
But everything that I've looked at has been either really expensive. The easy ones are really expensive. The hard ones are maybe free, but then you've got pop-up ads and all that garbage. So I've
Mhm.
decided that I'll just do the best I can because the text is most of the time the text is the important stuff.
Right.
But
Yeah.
anyway, but I'm a geek like that. I love the whole. Okay, let's put this on a. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, Judy's No No Nanette. That one was a good reminder of what a lot of things we already know. I agree with
Yeah.
what you said.
Yeah, I'm looking over again. I mean, it's pretty much just direct evidence, indirect evidence, and negative
Yeah.
evidence.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is
We already know
important.
about that.
Yeah, I mean, it is important. It very, very much is, but, and I think it's one of those things that you can overthink it.
You can.
Make it, yeah, more. And then, so her next presentation was, oh no, Linking the Generations was her first one. Did you say you had notes on that, Nan?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, copious notes.
Okay. Well, then you had an aha moment or a takeaway at that point.
Yeah. Um, some states don't require birth certificate or death certificates if they're early. And I have a little booklet that tells you exactly when the states required them to record it at the state level. And like North Carolina, I think it was the marriage was in 1960
Yeah, and that's
that
crazy.
required to at the state level, and I was like, there you go. Yeah, and then Kentucky records, tax records, record the birth and death data early on, and land records and court records, the probably the probate records. If you over 14, you can select your guardian. If you're under 14, a guardian is assigned to you.
Now, I believe that could be different for different areas, though, Nan.
Different,
Yeah,
different.
states.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is something that she brought up, which is the kind of her go-to, go find out what the law is or was.
Yeah.
Law dictionary from 1839. She
Yeah.
39 and 1856. She said the sixth
Yeah.
edition from 1856 is the classic one, and it's good for the South.
I think that was her. That was the Wednesday session.
Oh, you know what? It probably was.
Yeah, I was writing down a lot of that stuff too, Colleen. That was really good.
I have them on facing pages, but that was the kind of stuff that I picked up on there.
And dower records are 1/3 of the land.
Yes.
The dower lives on that.
That's an
dower
automatic unless it's if they're interstate, it's automatically 1/3. But if it's specified in the will, then it could be different. So
that's true too.
She's not.
And the thing is, what she said was, like I said, every state is different. Some of the states in New England had early recording of records, and some of them didn't, So, like I said, I have this little booklet, and I said, daggum, my marriage was not recorded at the state level.
New York and Vermont, I've found Vermont records in New York because it was New York at one time. Same with Massachusetts and Maine. You've got
And Connecticut. Yeah, I just sent one in, and on the records it says Maine, but the birth date was 1817. So Maine didn't exist until 1820, the Compromise of 1820.
Maine did,
like,
yeah. It was
also Connecticut owned part of the northeast section of Pennsylvania, where Scranton and Wilkes-Barre and that Lycoming County, Luzerne County, the Connecticut owned that part of that. Well, it's in dispute, so you can
got the floating boundaries.
Oh yeah, well, like I said, my family never moved from the Revolution, and then we were in Northampton, Northumberland, Union, and Snyder County, and you have to know when these counties existed because they will look it up. And a lot of times I've seen on applications that this was not formed until that kind of stuff. So
that's one blessing from coming from a Western migration people.
Yeah.
I don't have to sit there and just watch this waving line of boundary changes. I'm moving.
But one thing I picked up in Family Search is if you're looking, searching in the catalog, you may have seen this too, and I'm just preaching to the knowledgeable. But if you start searching, say a place in Virginia,
Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky. There is, let's say you put in this county in Kentucky, it will tell you that in the fine print below the name of the county, when it autofills, it'll give you the time periods like and I'm thinking more on the East Coast, British colonial America or United States, and it'll say starting at 1776 or the date range. But look for that. I did not explain that well at all, but when your autofill in the catalog search kicks in. Look for those date ranges if it's a.
It's always something to keep in mind, and no, don't feel bad about bringing that up because Colleen, I fail on that often, to remember. But how
Why don't they
quickly
have
boundaries.
records before 1837? Because it didn't exist.
And that is,
I'm working in Kentucky right now, and I've got burnt counties,
you do.
and
Somehow I'm stuck in Alabama this week with.
Okay, this
yeah,
is
I'm
the
still
book I'm
stuck in
talking
Kentucky.
It's
about.
got that book. That's the dollar hide. I love dollar hide.
Yes,
Map guide.
it says
Uh,
Map Guide to the U.S. Federal Census 1790 to 1920.
oh, okay, cool.
That is a really cool book.
Oh,
Can
I
you get
love
it on Amazon?
I'm sure.
Imagine is it?
That would be very helpful.
Yes, and it does the census. Okay, so this is, well, I have to do Pennsylvania. This is 1790.
There
Look
it
at
is.
the counties. Like I said,
I did a
Northumberland just goes almost to the border.
if
Yeah.
you do a search on William Dollarhide, and he is a dude.
Yes, yeah,
$5 on Amazon.
What is it?
yeah.
Oh wait, that's a different book. $47 on Amazon. I wonder if it's available on ABE Books. Let's look.
It could be.
Try genealogy.com, genealogical.com.
Oh yeah.
They're having a sale right now.
Oh.
Yeah,
Genealogical.com or genealogy.com?
genealogical.com.
Okay.
That genealogical publishing, is that what it is?
Yeah. And I was looking at it today, actually. This is my go-to book.
That is a great book. It really is.
Yeah.
Now I've actually got to see Dollarhide in person. He was a little less exciting than I expected him to be because he's got some great books, but it was a treat, but not. Sometimes I get so excited about some of like Brent Holcomb. Oh my goodness. I fell in love with Brent Holcomb before I got to South Carolina, and he's just a real person, and I was amazed.
He is a real person, yes.
But his books preceded him in my world, So
Several of his books.
I was looking at genealogical. You said there's a sale going on, Dan?
Yes.
What's the
Through May 27th. It's
that again? Book search.
Genealogical.com.
genealogical.com. Not genealogy, but genealogical.com.
There it
They
is.
have
The
a
coupon.
warehouse, but
It's
you cannot, because I said, oh, can it be in Maryland? No,
Where was it?
but it's
Oh, no, that
all
can,
online.
recycle.
But they have a lot of
Yeah.
family search. I mean,
No,
specific
you don't need to
counties
shred
or
it.
states. Yeah.
MDS 25 is your code to get 25%
I
off.
see that now. Yeah.
Ooh.
No, it's
Okay.
50%
Memorial
off.
Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have that book for $40 and change.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Minus
It's a
25%.
really great
That's
book.
15, but yeah.
Oh, okay. That's good. Great.
I figure that.
I
And
did have a little breakthrough on full text search for my Kentucky people that Susan, you helped me with.
Yeah.
And I actually found a land record where they sold the land from one of the people I'm searching, and there was a lawsuit with kids and grandkids named in it. So
that's wonderful.
very helpful.
Love those.
Yeah, I was really excited.
Went on for literally, some of them went on literally for generations, and it's just crazy.
Well, that's it. It was 10 years before it got resolved.
Yeah, that's one reason why sometimes I just leave dates out to start with, and 20-year range. By then, usually the case has been settled, but you should be able to get some kind of.
I actually worked on an application for a prospective member who is a member of our of the Trenton chapter, and a grandfather died in like 1860. Well, by the time they got around to getting into court and all that, the war was going crazy.
Oh yeah.
So this was a slave owning large plantation holder, and the war just kind of tore it apart. So it was like, goodness gracious, 30 years later or something like that. And there was nothing left. So there was nothing to probate.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
But you talk about great records, Debbie.
Yeah, I was very excited about that. And I'm still looking for probate, but that may have been part of the courthouse in Breathitt County burnt twice, not just once, twice.
Yeah.
So they came back to make sure they really got it. And so I haven't found that yet, but I'm still looking.
And one thing I'd heard of, and I'm sure you've taken this into consideration, but deeds, a lot of times they would record after life got resettled,
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that you have a mixture of dates and stuff as far as what's
Yeah, I'm looking at all of that. Not so far, nothing's popped up, but I'm still digging.
Okay, going back to the court records, the presentation. I really did get a lot out of Wednesday's session. Debbie, I really wish you could have been there.
I know.
What I loved about it is the way I saw it. My takeaway is that she talked about how to get the definition for archaic legal words. Don't just bypass them, and I probably have too many times. Like it's not really somebody, man, it could have been you that said, when you get down to looking at a land document, that's not really the important thing. Sometimes it's all the definitions of where the land is. Sometimes you have to drill down to that, but you don't want to, but it's all the other stuff. Well, a lot of times with court records, I had assumed all the other stuff was a lot of these archaic legal words. It's like, who wants to take the time out to go?
Yeah, yeah, to look it up.
And sometimes it's needed. And I think in my mind, this is probably more needed when we're doing genealogy versus lineage research.
Yeah.
When we're doing lineage research, we're just trying, and don't think I'm discrediting it, but we are focused on an application and collecting the information that's necessary for that application. When we're doing genealogy, we want to get a better full picture of these families and who they interacted with.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that Judy was talking about is that what I really got was the different types of records, and I wrote them down. Just because it's on a docket doesn't mean that's it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of an index. Bullet points is what I wrote that down specifically. The dockets are somewhat of an index. They're bullet points of what the details will be in the order books.
Yeah, and the minutes, I didn't know about that. The clerk takes the minutes.
Mhm.
And the newspapers, I've already been there, done that.
I've more tripped on them, Nan, instead of actually trying to rebuild a case like she was showing. And again, that's more
Mhm.
genealogy, but I did find it fascinating how she was able to flesh out, was it her grandfather or great grandfather? And
Yeah.
what was the story? It was like Debbie, he was accused of murder. And so it was like, and they had him and then they released him, but it
Yeah.
doesn't show that they released him, and so then they've got him accused of murder again. It's the same person. I mean, it was just like, so you got this feeling he's a pretty good guy. Something went wrong. They didn't really hold it against him, but they had to do the law. Well, he's living, she finds out, right next door, just across the county line for like 20 years. And finally, they just go dismissed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she followed it all and showed us how it looked like every time he came to town, they were good old boys together. But okay,
Go back over the border. Yeah.
Yeah. And there was more to the story. Of course, it's her story, so she can tell it a lot better. But being able to click in all of these little things that happened and really flesh that story out was fascinating to me.
Mhm.
And she would not have been able to do it or show it so well without those archaic dictionaries.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I've actually resorted to sending my daughter, who's an attorney, a will, I mean, a land document, and said, where are all these things? What do they mean? Yeah. She's a corporate attorney, but she studied it in law school. So I was like, okay, what does that word mean?
Well, there's a
Yeah.
lot of Latin in those legal words.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's that Latin really. If you know, I don't know Latin, but if you do know Latin, that's really helpful. But she did give us some good references. I wrote them down if you
You did?
did, or it
No,
might be a handout. Because
I've got them written down. The Black Law Dictionary or whatever. Is that what you've got?
I've got
Blacks.
some reason I didn't. Maybe I already knew about blacks, so I did not. Let me write that down now.
Well, Black's Law is the book,
Mm-hmm.
the book.
Oh, I
Yeah.
did write it down. Henry Campbell Black, 1891.
Yeah.
And I wrote court listener in quotations.
I use Google.
Govinfo.gov. Yeah, Google works too.
And the
But
Sanborn maps too. I've used that.
I've been using. Oh my! I love Sanborn maps.
Oh, I know. Isn't it great? And
They,
Veterans Historical History Collection.
Can't we just enter all this into Chat GPT now and let them translate
Good.
it?
You could. And that's
Yeah.
that's what I did with I had to look up what chancery was
Oh,
because one of the people I'm searching researching in Kentucky was in and out of court suing his brother, and then they would countersue, and it was all chancery, and it's like, what the hell is chancery?
yes.
And it's somebody was not being fair, and so it's goes before the judge to make it all fair
Not
and
a trial
equitable.
jury.
Is
Yeah,
it kind of like
right.
small claims court, Debbie?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's called chancery in some states, and it's called something else I can't remember in other states. But yeah,
But it could be like somebody didn't pay a bill or they didn't repay a small debt, and this went back and forth for probably 20 years.
and
The
they
ver-
can get into bigger cases than that too. It depends on the state.
Yeah.
Virginia has excellent chancery records online, and they've been online for, 10 years or so. That has really helped me.
What makes them excellent?
There are just so many of them, and they're so complete.
They tell all about all the dirty details of the affair. This woman.
And I'm from a burned county in Virginia, and that was the only place I could find a lot of documents.
Yeah, it's
And
it's
it would keep those, right?
yeah, there's usually, if you get a good chancery case, it goes on and on about all the details about everybody in the family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one of those, and it, like I said, it's called something else in other states, and I can't remember what it is at the top right now. I'd have to look it up, but yeah.
Myself with court records, I don't find them easily. I've used them, but they're not as easily indexed, I don't find.
No.
This is where AI is coming in
Yes.
extremely helpful.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that they've started with is the deeds and the court records were the first
Yes.
act with the AI.
Sorry.
Yeah. So Family Search AI is your place to start looking for those.
Going back to what
Yeah.
you guys were talking about with these archaic terms and using Google,
Mm-hmm.
I thought was one of the things that Judy Russell said that I thought was interesting. And again, with AI, remember, junk in, junk out. So if you use it, it makes sense, like Chancery, Debbie, that's probably a perfect example for that.
Mm-hmm.
But this one example that she used, remember there was Latin archaic words compounding upon themselves. And so that was like, this is the third first writ. Sort of thing. So that showed that he had been back again. They had dropped it, come back again. And she said that Henry Campbell Black a law dictionary, 1891 was the one that she preferred because and they still are making this, I believe, but she said
Yes,
that
they are.
Yeah.
everything through was it edition? I think so, or revision.
Um,
5+, they threw out all the archaic words.
she
So
yeah, she said use the fourth edition or earlier.
right.
Mm,
So what I'm saying is, with just Googling it, we may not, unless we
mhm,
explain it, what was the definition of this word in this year,
Yeah,
mhm.
we
that's
might not
true.
be getting
Yeah,
the true meaning of it.
Right.
yeah,
And I looked at, I mean, I didn't just look at the Google, I looked at several different sources that were listed
yeah,
to see what
yeah.
exactly, if so it was a common denominator for,
Yeah.
for Kentucky at that point.
And I think that's a perfect way to use. I mean, that's what we were
For
trying.
one word. Yeah.
Right. Like I was explaining to mom last night, to use AI to look up or to look at recipes. I mean, that's probably safe. You read it and realize, that sounds like it goes together. You still vet it a little bit, you still sit there and verify it. Like you may not want to put dog food in the middle of your burrito, so
Ew. Well,
but then if
never
you're
buy
looking
a
for a medical definition, you might want to decide where does it get its information and drill down
yeah,
past like,
yeah,
Mayo Clinic's website's pretty good and stuff.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's I go to places like that for different things. Don't put dog food in your burrito. Oh my, I might never. My son
Not
lives.
like it.
Yeah, my son lives in Arizona, so I mean, on a morning where nobody feels like cooking, running around the corner to the you know, the breakfast stand is just,
Normal.
yeah, yeah. Burritos are usually, yeah. Anyway, I'll have to rethink this now. It's when they say, do you want do you want meat or chicken?"
Dog food.
Veggie, it's safe.
Yeah, there you go.
What was,
That's
was there any other takeaways that you guys found from? I mean, this is one of those handouts I'm going to be looking at and
Oh
reference.
yeah, yeah.
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 That's great. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. I'm looking through my notes here, and I mean, the
Well, I
court.
would say this for the Volunteer Genealogist Committee, since I've got those of you that are just kind of visiting today, which I appreciate. Put the word out. If there are genealogists that are out there wanting to play with dead people, I mean,
Yeah,
we've got work that we could be doing, and we need to um, have them just contact me if they are, looking for something to do in regards to genealogy. Usually it's not the registrars that I'm talking to. I have been looking through the e-membership, and I see that there's a lot of chapters that absolutely have no inventory of supplementals. And so,
Yes, I did that.
very short
Ah,
because I haven't had time to do
oh, I know.
supplementals. So I'm actually looking forward to not being registrar anymore, so I can get some fun work done.
But your chapter is doing fine with that
Oh,
arena. Yeah. And that's what I'm looking at. There's several chapters. Nan knows exactly what I'm talking about.
oh, yes.
Where, it takes 2 to 3 years to get a supplemental verified.
Mhm.
And
that's the part that's encouraging.
if you drill down to a chapter and they have no supplementals in their inventory, and so I'm going to be trying to start reaching out to some of these places. So, um, what I'm saying is, I could see a need for other people that want to help with playing with dead people, you know, to help these girls out. And also, the 250s coming. We can't stop it. It's kind of like childbirth. It's gonna get here, whether we like it or not. And there will be an interest. I mean, I'm sure you guys are too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very good. I went to a senior high school awards ceremony yesterday morning, and a school board member was talking to me about, it was funny because he was dropping stuff like, the Battle of Augusta, Siege 1, like
Yeah, yeah.
it was kind of cool to he you could tell he had an interest, but not one that he had drilled down for or really embraced. And I think we're going to see some of that percolating. I mean, in South Carolina, we've had more battles than any other state, so people are living.
Yeah, yes.
Mhm.
People don't know that. That is, an interesting factoid that people just don't.
See, I can't wrap my head around that. You think so, Colleen?
Oh,
That-
I mean, until I moved to South Carolina, it never would have occurred to me because being from New England, it was New York and Boston, and
Well, and I was from Pennsylvania.
right,
So when I was a docent for the South Carolina room, I would pass out any visitor a map of all the skirmishes. I said more battles and skirmishes occurred in South Carolina than any other colony, and they all looked at me and like, really? I said,
It
yep.
was. It is. Yep. So.
Yep.
I mean, growing up in Colorado, I could talk to you about cowboys, Indians, and Spaniards.
Oh yeah.
And we have Sacagawea in Washington State.
Yeah, that's true.
So it wasn't, moving to the state with the most battles wasn't why I came here, but I could, it's like, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, really.
All right, let's go ahead and call it a day. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out this morning, girls.
It was great to see
We
you
learned a
all.
lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll have to do it again sometime.
Yes, we should. Yeah.
Good to see you.
All
Good
right.
to see
take
you.
care.
You guys have a great weekend.
You
Thanks.
You
Bye.
too.
too. Bye bye.
Bye.